My name is Keegan Kautsky. I'm the Director of Global Education Programs at the World Food Prize Foundation, which is often referred to as the Nobel Prize for Food and Agriculture. Welcome to Agripreneurship, a path to the future. This lesson is Agriculture and Entrepreneurship, creating a way forward. In this lesson, we'll review what we mean when we talk about agriculture and the importance of a strong agricultural sector. We'll talk about food security and its benefits to society. We'll look at the key challenges in agriculture, and we'll explore the role that young professionals can play in advancing the agricultural economy. I grew up on a diversified family farm in Iowa, a predominantly rural agricultural state in the Midwest United States. On our farm, we grew corn and soybeans and raised purebred cattle, pigs, and chickens. Throughout college and graduate school, I studied rural sociology and political science, development economics, and public health, but always with a focus on food security, agricultural systems, rural livelihoods, and youth empowerment. I worked in Malawi with women farmers on agroforestry and other sustainable agriculture practices. I spent 5 years working with rural families in South Africa, Mozambique, and Botswana to better understand ways to improve their food security. Now at the World Food Prize, I have the opportunity to work with over 10,000 young leaders around the world every year to help them solve the world's greatest challenges through agriculture, innovation, and entrepreneurship. What is agriculture, and why does it matter? Agriculture is the art and science of cultivating the soil, growing crops and raising livestock, processing and preparing plant and animal products, and then getting them to market. Agriculture is essential to life. It provides the food that nourishes our bodies, the feed and fodder for our animals, the fiber that clothes, houses, and protects us, the fuel that heats our homes, cooks our food, and powers our industry, and the products that build our communities and grow our economy. Agriculture is far more than farming. It's business, it's science, it's engineering, it's energy, it's information, it's healthcare, it's technology. Agriculture is the driver of the African economy today. According to the African Development Bank, it is the leading employer and the primary source of income for most African families. The last 50 years have been the greatest period of agricultural innovation, food production, and hunger reduction in all of human history. And many of the most critical innovations and advances have come from Africa. African scientists have developed crops to boost vitamin intake and prevent blindness in children. Public and private partnerships have been forged to provide mobile, digital access to rural farmers, enabling them new opportunities to access farm inputs, credit, banking, and markets. Advances in the agricultural economy have been at the heart of that success, and in the last 20 years alone, they have helped cut extreme poverty in half, reduce child mortality by 50%, and save the lives of over 120 million children. Agricultural development has helped over 200 million people lift themselves out of poverty. It's helped increase household incomes, improve nutrition, and increase access to education, better housing, improve sanitation, and healthcare. In Africa alone, it has helped increase life expectancy by more than 10 years since 2000. Society cannot advance without food security and a strong agricultural sector. But it isn't about looking at the past. In the next 50 years, the innovators and entrepreneurs who will change the world will do it through agriculture. It'll be an engineer who develops an affordable way to desalinize ocean water and help 2 billion people access safe, clean drinking water. An entomologist who finds a way to stop malaria and saves 300 million lives. A plant breeder who develops disease-resistant, drought-tolerant, and more nutritious crops who will help end malnutrition once and for all. A veterinarian who prevents the spread of avian influenza and saves the lives of tens of millions of chickens, ducks, and geese. A geneticist who shows us how to produce meat in a petri dish and grow life-saving medicines in the food we eat every day. Or a data programmer who uses artificial intelligence to advance the field of precision agriculture and develop drones to plant our fields, water our crops, weed our gardens, and harvest our food safely and sustainably. What is food security, and how does it benefit society? Food security exists when all people at all times have physical, social, and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food, which meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. The three essentials are quality, a safe, healthy, and nutritious food that meets our physical needs and cultural preferences; quantity, that every person has enough at all times to lead a healthy and active lifestyle; and availability to afford and access the food where you live. In sub-Saharan Africa, food insecurity affects over 27% of the population. That's almost 4 times any other region of the world. It leads to illness, stunted growth, and learning disabilities, and results in the deaths of approximately 3 million children each year. As Norman Borlaug, the father of the Green Revolution, said, "Food is a moral right of all who are born on this earth." What are the key challenges facing those in agriculture? People are living longer, healthier lives. Fewer mothers are dying in childbirth, and fewer children are dying before the age of 5 from preventable illnesses. They have better access to nutrition, to clean water, sanitation, and healthcare, and as a result, our global population is expected to keep growing until it reaches equilibrium at around 10 billion, and then begins to decline. This growth in the world's population is a significant challenge, as it's expected to increase demand for food by nearly 60%. In other words, we will need to produce and distribute as much food in the next 30 years as we have produced in the last 10,000 years combined. And we'll have to do it in a way that is not just sustainable, but also efficient and fair. But it isn't just about increasing production. We already produce almost twice what our population needs. Food insecurity is primarily a problem of distribution and access. By reducing post-harvest loss and waste, we would increase the global food supply by over 30%, and improvements in gender equality and legal and economic opportunities for women could reduce food insecurity by approximately 15%, meeting much of that increased demand. The most common institutional barriers facing individuals engaged in agriculture today include a lack of access to capital and financing, land ownership, education and technical training, improved technologies and better practices, and insurance against loss, among others. In Africa, these systemic challenges are often compounded by several other factors, including water scarcity, climate volatility, rapid urbanization and migration, evolving plant and animal diseases, transitions in the human disease burden, soil erosion, discriminatory legal, political, economic, and social barriers for women and girls, and a lack of reliable energy sources. As the Sustainable Development Goals envision, a strong agricultural sector will produce a country that is free from hunger, malnutrition, and extreme poverty, where thriving local economies generate increased income for all people, where people consume balanced and nutritious diets, and children grow up healthy, able to reach their full potential, where resilient households and communities face fewer and less severe shocks, have less vulnerability to the shocks they do face, and are helping to accelerate inclusive, sustainable economic growth. Farming is a business, and every farmer is a CEO, a scientist, a manager, a market analyst, a transportation logistics specialist, an engineer, a data officer, a human resource manager, a bookkeeper, an accountant, a sales representative, and at the same time, they're often also the skilled labor who repairs and operates the equipment, feeds and cares for the livestock, plants, harvests, and processes the crops, and oversees the day-to-day operations of their household. Whether they're managing operations on 100,000 hectares or on a half a hectare of land. The real-world experience and professional skills they are developing are incredibly valuable and critical to a country's prosperous future. How can young professionals play an active role in advancing the agricultural economy? Today, more than 60% of the population in sub-Saharan Africa is under the age of 25, and Africa's youth population is expected to double by 2050. Unfortunately, job creation is unable to keep pace with the rapid rise in the African workforce, and there are almost 8 million more young people entering the labor market each year than there are available job opportunities. As a result, less than 1/4 of young people entering the job market will find paid formal sector employment. To succeed in this challenging environment, young professionals will have to be entrepreneurial and be able to identify new business opportunities. You'll need to understand the challenges facing your country as you seek to innovate and invent, to develop a new product, to provide a service, to develop a niche market, to adopt a new technology, to add value to the supply chain, and to create your own job. Now, with global demand for agriculture and food products on the rise as a result of population growth, urbanization, income growth, an expanding middle class, and changing diets, there are incredible opportunities all across the food supply chain to find where you fit. As young African leaders, you have the opportunity to be the CEOs, the scientists, the farmers and the philanthropists, the innovators and inventors, the engineers and the entrepreneurs who will feed the world, protect the planet, improve human health, grow the global economy, strengthen your community, improve your household, and empower others to achieve their potential. In advancing the agricultural economy, you have the opportunity to be one of those real-life heroes whose hands touch the soil and the lives of all humankind. After you've completed all of the lessons in this course at yali.state.gov, you can test your knowledge and earn a YALI Network certificate.